The 16-year-old was homeless, runaway, 8 months on streets, no hope, just surviving day to day. That June afternoon, walking by Crater Lake, she heard scream, saw a woman fall 6 meters down into freezing water, 38 degrees. Woman couldn't swim, panicking, drowning, nobody else around. The girl didn't hesitate, kicked off worn shoes, dove into ice-cold water, swam 50 meters. Woman was already underwater, unconscious, sinking. Girl dove 3 meters deep, pulled her up, started dragging 165 pounds back to shore. 9 minutes in freezing water. Girl weighed 98 pounds. Malnourished, exhausted, entering hypothermia herself. But she didn't quit. Reached shore, finally. Started CPR, compressions, breaths, 3 minutes. Woman coughed, breathed, lived. Girl collapsed beside her, both hypothermic, both barely alive. That's how the biker found them. His wife Linda alive, unknown teenage girl unconscious beside her. He knew instantly what happened. This homeless stranger had saved Linda's life, risked everything. When Linda woke in hospital 2 days later, she said, "Find that girl. She saved me. She's family now. Angels forever. Forever angels. Don't abandon who saves us. Bring her home." If this story moves you, please like and share. Love sees beyond appearances. My dream is to reach 1,000 subscribers. Mia Rodriguez was 16 years old and homeless. She'd been living on Oregon streets for 8 months since running from her foster home. The system had taken her from her drug-addicted biological mother when Mia was 14 years old. Child Protective Services placed her with foster family, who seemed nice initially, but quickly revealed their true nature: neglectful, emotionally abusive, treating Mia like unpaid servant rather than child needing care and love. After 2 years of enduring that environment, Mia made desperate decision at age 16. She ran, packed small backpack with few belongings and left in middle of night. She knew running meant becoming fugitive, that authorities would search for her, that she'd be forced back if caught. But streets seemed safer than that house. At least on streets, nobody pretended to care while actually hurting her. 8 months of survival followed. Mia slept wherever she could find shelter. Parks, abandoned buildings, under bridges, doorways of closed businesses. She ate from dumpsters behind restaurants, occasionally begged for change, though she hated doing it, avoided police and social workers who would recognize her as runaway and force return to system. She moved constantly between small Oregon towns, never staying anywhere long enough to be identified or reported. She owned almost nothing: worn shoes with holes, thin jacket, backpack containing 1 change of clothes and toiletries scavenged from public restrooms. She weighed 98 pounds, should have been at least 120 for her height. Chronic malnutrition had weakened her, but also made her resilient in ways she never expected. 8 months of street survival taught her to be alert, cautious, independent, tough. She had no hope for future, no plans beyond surviving each day. She was just existing, waiting for nothing in particular, expecting nothing would change. June 15th, 2024. Saturday afternoon, unseasonably warm for Oregon coast. Mia was walking along road near Crater Lake, massive, deep lake in rural, isolated area. She'd heard about it from other homeless people. Beautiful place, usually not crowded, good for finding solitude. Lake was famous for being incredibly deep, 594 meters at deepest point, and for having water that stayed freezing cold year-round, around 38.5, even in summer months, because of snowmelt and depth. She was just walking, no particular destination, enjoying rare sunshine and relative peace. Then she heard it, sharp scream, terrified, female voice. Then violent splash. Mia ran toward the sound. About 30 meters ahead, she saw a scene that made her heart stop. Woman, white, probably mid-40s, wearing distinctive leather vest with patches reading AFA, Angels Forever, Forever Angels, had apparently been standing on old, unstable wooden observation deck extending over water. Deck had given way, or she'd slipped. She'd fallen 6 meters straight down, hitting water hard. Woman surfaced briefly, arms flailing wildly, face showing absolute terror. She clearly couldn't swim. was panicking, going under, coming back up, gasping, screaming, going under again, about 50 meters from nearest shore. In water that was literally freezing, 38 degrees. Mia looked around frantically. Nobody else visible anywhere, isolated area. This woman was drowning right in front of her, maybe 2 minutes before she'd lose consciousness. 3 minutes before brain damage from oxygen deprivation, 5 minutes before death. Mia didn't think, didn't hesitate, didn't consider that she was 98-pound malnourished homeless teenager with no obligation to risk herself for stranger. She just acted on pure instinct and basic human decency. She kicked off her worn shoes, only pair she owned, threw off her thin jacket, only warm thing she possessed, ran to water's edge, dove in. The cold hit her like physical blow. 38 degrees Celsius, water shocking every nerve ending in her body, muscles seized involuntarily, breath caught in throat. But she pushed through shock, started swimming toward woman. 50 meters, arms and legs already going numb from cold, but she kept moving. Woman went under, stayed under this time, unconscious now. Body sinking from lack of buoyancy and waterlogged clothes. Mia took deep breath. Dove, 3 meters down, water pressure crushing her ears, cold unbearable, vision limited. She searched frantically. Found woman, grabbed her vest, 165 pounds of dead weight. Mia was 98 pounds. She kicked with everything she had. Pulled with arms that were already failing from cold and exhaustion. Got woman back to surface. Woman wasn't breathing, just floating limply, complete dead weight. Mia positioned herself on back, hooked arm around woman's chest, started swimming toward shore using legs and free arm, 50 meters, dragging 165 pounds through 38 degrees water. Mia was entering hypothermia herself, core temperature dropping, muscles failing progressively, vision blurring, thinking becoming difficult. But she couldn't stop, couldn't let this woman die, not when Mia could prevent it, so she just kept pulling. One stroke, another stroke, meter by meter. Time became meaningless. Could have been 2 minutes or 20. Later, she'd learn it was 9 minutes total. 9 minutes in water, cold enough to kill most people in 15. Finally, impossibly, her feet touched bottom. Shallow water, shore. She dragged woman onto grass, collapsed beside her for a moment, gasping, shaking violently, but woman still wasn't breathing. Lips were blue, no pulse visible in neck. Mia forced herself up, started CPR. She'd learned it years ago in mandatory health class at school, hadn't practiced since. But muscle memory kicked in, 30 chest compressions, 2 rescue breaths. Repeat. She was exhausted beyond description, hypothermic, shaking so hard she could barely maintain compression rhythm, but she kept going. 1 minute of CPR, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Mia's own vision was darkening at edges. She was on verge of passing out herself from hypothermia and exhaustion. Then, woman suddenly coughed. Water expelled from lungs, started breathing. Shallow, labored but breathing. She was alive. Mia collapsed beside her, both of them soaked, both severely hypothermic, both barely conscious. Mia had nothing left, had given everything. She closed her eyes. About 10 minutes later, she heard voice. Deep, male. Urgent. Linda! Linda! Oh my God, what happened? Linda! Through blurred vision, Mia saw huge man running toward them. 6'4" easily, maybe 280 pounds, completely covered in tattoos, thick beard, wearing leather vest with patches. Hells Angels MC Oregon, president. Name patch read Reaper. He dropped beside the woman, Linda, apparently his wife, based on his panic. Checked her pulse, her breathing, saw she was alive but hypothermic. Then he noticed Mia lying beside Linda, also soaked, also barely conscious. His eyes took in the scene. Both women drenched, Linda showing clear marks of CPR on her chest from compressions, Mia's shoes and jacket discarded near water's edge. Mia's exhausted, hypothermic state. Understanding dawned immediately on his face. This unknown girl, this stranger, had saved Linda, had pulled her from the lake, had done CPR, had saved his wife's life. He pulled out phone, called 911, Need 2 ambulances at Crater Lake, North Observation Area. 2 victims, near drowning and severe hypothermia, both female. 1 mid-40s, 1 teenage. Critical, hurry. While waiting for ambulance, he grabbed emergency blankets from saddlebags on his motorcycle, covered both women, tried warming them, talked to Linda constantly. Stay with me, baby. Help is coming. You're going to be okay. He looked at Mia. You too, kid. Whatever you did, thank you. Hang on, help is coming. Ambulances arrived. Paramedics assessed quickly. Both women had severe hypothermia. Linda had additional near-drowning complications. They needed hospital immediately, transported both in separate ambulances. At hospital, Mia was treated for hypothermia. Core temperature had dropped to 89 degrees, dangerously low. Linda was treated for near-drowning and hypothermia, had been underwater without oxygen for approximately 2 minutes, but CPR had prevented brain damage. Both spent 2 days in ICU recovering. When Mia woke 2 days later, she was confused. Hospital room, warm, clean, tubes and monitors everywhere. First thought was terror. System had found her. Would send her back to foster home or worse. Social worker confirmed her fear. Woman in her 50s, stern expression. Mia Rodriguez, you're a runaway. 8 months missing from foster placement. We've been looking for you. You're being returned to system immediately. There will be consequences for running. No. Mia's voice was hoarse from intubation. I'm not going back. I'll run again first chance. You're 16, a minor. You don't have choice in this matter. State has custody. Door opened. Woman entered. Linda, the one Mia had saved, though Mia didn't know her name yet. With her was the massive biker, Reaper. Both looked at Mia with expressions of deep gratitude and protectiveness. Actually, she does have choice, Linda said firmly to social worker. This girl saved my life. I was drowning in Crater Lake. She dove into 38-degree water, pulled me from 3 meters down, dragged me 50 meters to shore while she was hypothermic herself. Did CPR for 3 minutes, bringing me back from death. She risked everything for someone she didn't know. Angels forever. Forever. Angels don't abandon people who save family. Mia is ours now. She's not going back to whatever made her run. Social worker stiffened. Mrs. Thompson, I understand you're grateful, but this is irregular. She's ward of state. Not anymore, Reaper said calmly but with unmistakable authority. We're filing for guardianship. My wife Linda and I. We have completely clean records. Stable home, substantial resources, character witness letters from 50 respected community members already prepared. And we have compelling evidence, which we'll present to judge, about why Mia ran from her placement. She saved Linda's life. We're not letting system take her back to place that was bad enough to make her prefer streets. She stays with us. This isn't negotiable. Social worker looked between them, saw their determination. Knew Hell's Angels had resources and wouldn't back down. I'll have to consult with my supervisor and review your petition. You do that, Linda said. Meanwhile, Mia is staying with us. We're taking her home when doctors release her. After social worker left, Linda sat beside Mia's bed, took her hand gently. Sweetheart, I'm Linda. This is my husband, Marcus. Everyone calls him Reaper. You saved my life. I fell from that deck into the lake. I can't swim. I panicked. I was drowning, going under. I thought I was dead. Then you appeared. You pulled me out. You brought me back. The doctors said I was without oxygen for almost 2 minutes. Without your CPR, I'd have brain damage or be dead. You gave me my life back. Mia started crying. I couldn't let you drown. I had to help. Baby, you jumped into freezing water. You stayed in that water for 9 minutes. Doctor said that's how long it took based on your core temperature drop. You almost died yourself. You were 98 pounds soaking wet. You dragged 165 pounds of me to shore. That's not just helping. That's sacrifice. That's love. That's family. So here's what's happening. You're not going back to streets or foster system. You're coming home with us. We've got house with extra bedroom. It's yours. You're our daughter now if you'll have us. Forever. I don't understand, Mia whispered. I'm nobody, a runaway. Why would you want... You're not nobody, Reaper said gently, his intimidating appearance completely contradicted by tenderness in voice. You're the incredibly brave girl who saved my wife. That makes you family. In our world, Angel's world, family is sacred. You saved an angel. Now you are one. That's how it works. Angels forever, forever angels. Afa. That's what Linda's vest means. Forever. You're ours forever now. Legal process took 3 weeks but moved remarkably quickly given Hells Angels' resources and connections. They hired top family law attorneys, gathered character witnesses, documented evidence of neglect and emotional abuse in Mia's foster placement, presented compelling case to family court judge. Judge reviewed everything, interviewed Mia privately. Do you want to live with the Thompsons? Yes, there. They're the first people who ever made me feel wanted, valued, like I matter. Even though they're Hells Angels, that doesn't frighten you. They saved me from drowning in poverty and hopelessness, Mia said. After I saved Linda from drowning in water, we saved each other. That's family. Judge granted guardianship. Mia Rodriguez was legally removed from state custody and placed permanently with Linda and Marcus Reaper Thompson. They took her home. Real house in nice neighborhood. 3 bedrooms, clean, warm, safe. Everything Mia hadn't experienced in 2 years. This is your room, Linda showed her. Painted soft blue, Mia's favorite color which Linda had asked about. Real bed with new mattress and comfortable bedding. Dresser already filled with new clothes in Mia's size. Desk with lamp and supplies. Bookshelf with books. Decorations. Everything a teenage girl's room should have. Mia stood in doorway, crying. Nobody ever gave me my own room before, or new clothes, or anything. You're not nobody anymore, honey, Linda said, hugging her. You're our daughter. This is your home, your safe place, forever. Nobody's taking this from you. You don't have to run anymore. Why? Why do you care so much? Because you cared enough to jump into freezing water for me, Linda said simply. Because you have the biggest, bravest heart I've ever seen. Because you deserve love and safety and family. And because you're ours now. No 3. First month was difficult adjustment. Mia had severe trust issues from years of disappointment and abuse. She expected abandonment, expected punishment, expected to wake up back on streets or in foster home. She flinched when anyone moved quickly near her, apologized constantly for existing, hoarded food in her room because she wasn't sure meals would continue. But Linda and Reaper were endlessly patient, consistent, loving without being overwhelming. They showed her daily through actions, not just words, that she was wanted, safe, valued, permanent. They enrolled her in school. She was behind academically from missing so much. They hired tutor. She caught up within 6 months, driven to succeed now that she had stability and support. She gained healthy weight, from 98 pounds to 118 pounds over 4 months. Regular meals, nutrition, security. Her body recovered from chronic malnutrition. Linda introduced her to AFFA, Angels Forever. Forever Angels, the organization of wives and partners of Hells Angels members, women who were tough, loyal, protective of each other. They welcomed Mia immediately. She became youngest AFA member ever at 16. They gave her custom leather vest, Mia Reaper's daughter, Angels Forever. She wore it proudly. For first time in life, she belonged somewhere, had identity beyond foster kid or runaway. She was Angel, she was family. At 6 months, Mia was genuinely thriving, healthy, happy, confident. She called Linda Mom and Reaper Dad, meant it completely. They were her parents in every way that mattered. At 1 year, adoption was finalized legally. Mia Rodriguez became Mia Thompson, Reaper and Linda's daughter officially and permanently, forever. At courthouse, judge asked Mia if she wanted to say anything for record. She did. A year ago, I was homeless, hopeless, surviving on streets, running from system that hurt me. Then I saw someone drowning. I jumped in, saved her life. That jump changed everything. Linda and Reaper, Mom and Dad, didn't just pull me off streets. They gave me family, love, home, hope, future, everything I'd never had. I'm not runaway anymore. I'm not homeless. I'm not nobody. I'm their daughter. I'm Angel. Forever. Judge smiled. This is one of most beautiful adoptions I've witnessed. Congratulations to all of you. You're officially family now. The Hells Angels Oregon chapter threw massive celebration party. All members attended, all AFFer members. They celebrated Mia's adoption, made her official Angels family member, toasted her courage, welcomed her home. Story went viral. Homeless teen saves drowning woman in Crater Lake, gets adopted by Hells Angels family. Video of Mia hugging Linda and Reaper at adoption ceremony. Tiny girl between two massive bikers, all three crying happy tears, had 800 million views. Angels established Mia's Courage Fund, helping runaway teens escape abusive situations, providing safe housing, legal support, family placement with vetted guardians, ensuring no kid had to live on streets. First year, Fund helped 900 teenagers find safe homes. At 5 years, Fund had helped 5,000 teens. At 10 years, Mia was 26. College graduate with social work degree, working professionally helping runaway teens, married, planning family of her own, thriving completely. 10 years ago, I jumped into freezing lake for stranger, Mia told journalist. That stranger became my mom, gave me everything, showed me what family means. Now I help other runaway kids find families and safety. That's how you honor gift, multiply it. Sometimes family finds you in freezing water. Sometimes courage changes everything. Sometimes strangers become parents forever. Mia proved it. Angels honored it. Thousands benefited forever. If this story moves you, please like and share. Love sees beyond appearances. My dream is to reach 1,000 subscribers. At 30 years after Mia dove into Crater Lake saving Linda, the impact of that 16-year-old's courage had transformed how society viewed and supported runaway teens. Mia was 46 now, director of largest runaway youth advocacy organization in Pacific Northwest, while Linda, 75 but still active in AFA, volunteered extensively with programs helping at-risk teens. 30 years ago, I was drowning, Linda told audience of 3,000 at Mia's Courage Fund anniversary celebration. Not just in water, though that was literal, but Mia was drowning in abandonment and abuse. She saved my life jumping into 38-degree water. We saved hers by giving her family. That exchange created 30 years of helping runaway teens find safety and families. Over 40,000 teens helped. Now Mia stood beside her adoptive mother, now confident advocate. Mom and Dad taught me that family isn't biology. It's commitment. They proved runaway teens aren't problems. We're survivors needing support. I've spent career replicating what they gave me. Unconditional love, stability, belief in my worth. Reaper had passed 12 years earlier at 86, 18 years after Mia saved Linda. His funeral drew 60,000. Mia delivered eulogy. Dad looked scary, but had gentlest heart. He showed me Hell's Angels aren't what society thinks. They're protectors. He gave homeless runaway everything. Thank you, Dad. I became advocate because you showed me how. Mia's Courage Fund had grown exponentially, operating across Western states with budget exceeding $200 million annually. Program provided comprehensive support for runaway teens, safe housing, legal advocacy, family placement, education support, mental health services. Success rate remarkable. 85% of teens remained stable 5 years post-intervention. We succeed because we remember Mia's story, directors explained. 16-year-old runaway saved drowning woman. Woman adopted her, gave comprehensive support. We replicate that, finding families for runaway teens, providing resources, ensuring success. Viral video from 30 years earlier, Mia hugging Linda and Reaper at adoption, had 7 billion views. Image of homeless teen finding family with bikers became iconic in social work, appearing on advocacy materials, training programs, documentaries about non-traditional families. At 35 years, Mia received National Advocacy Award for lifetime service. At ceremony, she wore necklace containing water from Crater Lake, preserved symbolically 35 years. This water represents transformation, Mia said during speech. I jumped into freezing lake saving stranger. She became my mother. That dive created 35 years, helping 50,000 teens find families. Proves courage changes everything. At 40 years, anniversary was commemorated regionally. Original Crater Lake site where Mia saved Linda had memorial, education center teaching about courage, family, supporting runaway youth. 2 million visitors annually. 40 years ago, homeless teen dove into freezing water. Speakers declared at ceremony, attended by 20,000. Saved woman's life. Woman adopted her. That adoption created movement, helping 75,000 teens find families. Thank you, Mia and Linda, for showing us family transcends biology. Linda, 85 now, spoke emotionally. 40 years ago, I was dying. Mia saved me. We saved her by becoming family. That's how gratitude works. You transform it into action benefiting thousands. Mia's own children, married at 30, had twins now teenagers, were both involved in youth advocacy, inspired by family story. Mom's courage and Grandma Linda's response shaped our worldview, her daughter explained. We understand family is choice, that supporting vulnerable youth changes everything. Hell's Angels had transformed significantly. Once primarily motorcycle club, now major youth advocacy organization partnering with social services in 20 states, funding family support programs. Annual advocacy funding exceeded 50 million, all because one 16-year-old trusted them with her story. Mia changed us, current members explained. One runaway's courage taught us our purpose, protecting vulnerable youth. Many members have since fostered or adopted at-risk teens, directly inspired by Linda and Reaper's example. At 50 years, anniversary was massive Western States event, representatives from youth services across 12 states. Thousands of families created through programs inspired by Mia's story. 50 years ago, Mia dove into freezing lake. Speakers declared to 50,000 attendees. That dive created 50 years of comprehensive youth support. We've helped 100,000 runaway teens find families, proved family is commitment, not biology. Thank you, Mia, Linda, Reaper, for showing us proper response to youth in crisis. At 75 years after Mia's dive, both she and Linda were gone. Mia at 71 after extraordinary advocacy career. Linda at 90 after lifetime volunteering with youth programs. But movement they'd created continued expanding. Mia's Courage Fund had evolved into Safe Harbor Network, comprehensive youth crisis organization operating in all Western states plus 10 countries. Budget exceeding $3 billion annually. Over 500,000 teens helped across 75 years. Mia's principle guides everything, network leaders explained. Runaway teen showed extraordinary courage. Adoptive family provided comprehensive support. We replicate that, finding families, providing resources, ensuring success for every runaway teen seeking help. Hell's Angels had become primarily youth advocacy organization with 10 million members globally, operating programs in 50 countries, employing 100,000 youth workers. They'd transformed from motorcycle club to essential youth protection institution. Mia's dive changed us permanently, members explained. One teen's courage taught us that protecting vulnerable youth is highest calling. That's our identity now. Original Crater Lake site had 50-acre campus, museum, training center, research institute. 10 million visitors annually learning about teen who saved woman and found family. This water saved and transformed 2 lives, guides explained. That transformation created 75 years, helping 5 million teens find families and safety. At 100 years, Centennial was massive celebration. Representatives from every state where Safe Harbor operated. 100,000 attendees. 100 years ago, Mia dove, speakers declared. Created century of proving runaway teens deserve families, not punishment. We've helped 10 million teens, changed policies in 40 states, proved family is commitment. At 150 years, sesquicentennial marked revolutionary changes. Every Western state implemented Mia protocols, requiring comprehensive support for runaway teens, prioritizing family placement over institutionalization. Mia taught us 150 years ago that teens run from abuse, not opportunity. policymakers explained. We're ensuring every runaway receives family and support Mia received. Udulu, at 200 years after Mia's dive, her story had achieved legendary status in youth advocacy. Every program globally followed Mia model, comprehensive family-based support for runaway teens. The Mia principle, concept that runaway teens need families not punishment, support not institutionalization, was enshrined in Youth Services Law of 193 nations. Safe Harbor Network operated universally. 50 million teens helped across 2 centuries. Results proved comprehensive family placement succeeded where institutional approaches failed. Hell's Angels, 50th generation since Reaper, had become humanity's largest youth protection organization. 50 million members globally protecting vulnerable teens. We'll never forget Mia, members declared. 200 years ago, homeless teen dove into freezing water, showed extraordinary courage, became our family. That taught us protecting youth is our purpose. Mia's lesson endures. Courage transcends circumstances. Runaway teens are survivors. Family is commitment. Linda and Reaper's lesson endures. Gratitude means action. Adoption transforms lives. Family transcends biology. Together, they proved one dive creates 2 centuries of youth protection, affecting 50 million teens. 200 years, 50 million teens helped. Global youth services transformed, all because one homeless teen dove into freezing water. That's power of courage. That's miracle of family. That's legacy that never dies. Thank you, Mia. For diving when others wouldn't, for trusting strangers who became family, for teaching courage has no circumstances. Thank you, Linda and Reaper, for adopting runaway teen, for showing family is choice, for creating movement helping millions. The lesson lives forever. Dive courageously for others. Adopt those needing family. Support comprehensively, not partially. Never ignore runaway teens. Never deny family to survivors. Never forget one dive changes millions. Because Mia dove, because Linda adopted, because 50 million benefited. Forever. That's truth, that's power, that's legacy, courage, family, forever.